in the classic Trumpian way, is openly saying it. Like, he's just like, yeah, these guys are dealing with like some really bad gangs. These guys are dealing with some really bad gangs. These are some really brutal gangs. So cute, my little Hasanito. I saw this. This is one of the funniest things that's taken place. So, number one, the ceasefire is not even like 100% complete yet. The most consequential aspect of this ceasefire that will make it long lasting and a real ceasefire, unlike the previous iterations of it, are obviously going to be whether or not Trump can force Israel's hand into actually ceasing the fire, right? And that part hasn't happened yet. And yet, every single outlet, every single liberal institution, Time Magazine, everyone is like, Trump is the peace president. He's pee-pee, right? He's doing it. He's doing the damn thing. Now, I've been a little bit more restrained in my celebrations because I'm obviously a little bit concerned about whether or not this will actually hold. There are some signs that it might, especially because of how much Donald Trump has said he wants this to happen and how much praise he's gotten. You know, I think a little bit of positive reinforcement in that regard doesn't hurt. Having said that, there is one aspect that Donald Trump has actually despised, even though he's been on a tear. He's been actually getting decently positive media coverage for this. There's one aspect of the media coverage that he seemingly doesn't like. Now, obviously, we're going to talk about how Israel has already violated the ceasefire and whatnot, but he hated this photo. He apparently hated this photo. He got really heated about this photo, and he said this: Time Magazine wrote a relatively good story about me, but the picture may be the worst of all time. They disappeared my hair and then had something floating on top of my head that looked like a floating crown, but an extremely small one. Really weird. I never like taking pictures from underneath angles, but this is a super bad picture and deserves to be called out. What are they doing and why? I mean, this is the most relatable he's ever been. This is the most relatable he's ever been, low key. But it is also incredibly funny that he's just like super butthurt about the angle of the photo because he is uggo to the max. That's just how you look, my man. You have way worse photos than this. I would go so far as to say, I mean, he has a point. It's a bad photo. Guys, it's Donald Trump. What angle is a good angle? What do you mean? Get real. Okay, get real. This is supposed to be like an angle that makes him look powerful, you know? Like, this is supposed to be the aura shot. Like, he looks like that. What are we talking about? He doesn't have any good photos. That's just what he looks like. It's really funny that he's just like mad about this and people are like, well, you know, it's just like a bad angle. It's like, is there a good angle? Have you seen his like new White House photo where he's like doing this in his new White House like portrait shot that he posted? Like, it's not like he looks good in any of those photos. It just looks like shit all the time. The reason why he's mad about this is because it shows that he's like clearly balding. That's it. And the nussie is prominent and powerful, and I like it. I like the nussie. Okay? I like the nussie. Okay, but not to defend Trump, but I get it. Like, you know, give him a chance. This is the iconic one. Unedited people went on to Photoshop it, though. Yeah, like, he just doesn't look good. In general, he is not. He is not a guy that looks good. That's it. You think he asked Laura Loomer to jiggle it? Oh, God. Laura, she's a free spirit. She jiggles my nussie like no one's ever before. Let me tell you. Trump is oh shit. Trump is going to arrest the Time reporters, the photojournalists that took the photo. Why are you making me look bald? I am not bald. Everyone knows I have perfect hair. Look at that perfect hair. I do not have a nussy. Many people are saying I have a nussy. This is very distasteful. Wait, this is how you can honor. This is how you can honor Charlie Kirk. In honor of Charlie Kirk's 31 years on Earth, here are 31 ways to live like him. Jesus Christ. What the hell, man? Anyway, yeah, Trump is mad about it. Gruesome Governor Gav Newsom is shitting on him over it. And yeah, we're gonna get into all of it. Okay, we're gonna get into all of it. Trump is obviously back in the United States of America. He's back in the United States finally. Yesterday was a very interesting, chaotic day full of interesting things that took place, where Donald Trump basically brought together everyone else, seemingly, other than the regional actors that are either experiencing a genocide or doing the genocide. And you know, he did the humiliation ritual for all of the Western leaders that wanted to participate. He did a humiliation ritual for all of the people that wanted to participate from all around the world. He just basically sat there and bullied them. Yeah, it was very interesting to watch Keir Starmer, also known as Kid Starver, get told to do spot training with Kaya. You know, similar to Kaya's spot training, where I say place. Just odd to see, you know, a person who is supposed to command the legacy of an empire that where the sun never set, you know, blowing a 13 colony lead all the way down to being a servile little gremlin to Donald Trump on camera, so much so that all of the other world leaders that were next to him started laughing. Like Mark Carney straight up starts laughing in Keir Starmer's face. Okay. Yeah, from blowing a 13 colony lead to blowing 13 bubbles on it, for sure. So all of that stuff took place. And meanwhile, obviously on the other side, you have Palestinians that are trying to go back to their homes, or what remains of their homes is mostly just reduce the rubble. And they are trying to rebuild. They're trying to rebuild. They're trying to survive. Meanwhile, there's obviously some chaos that's taking place in the restructuring in the Gaza Strip. Like all of the collaborator clans and you know, ISIS affiliates and other criminal elements that were unleashed upon the Strip in the process of the genocide by Israel are getting apprehended. And there's some chaotic incidents that have taken place. Like one of the gangs allegedly shot and killed a very famous Palestinian reporter. And then there's been retaliation on top of that. We'll obviously dive into it as well. We'll dive into we'll dive into like what has taken place in terms of like Hamas regaining control as the only organizing body on the Strip until they basically dissolve or give up control to a technocratic committee comprised of all of the different factions within Gaza. And it's really interesting because like a lot of people have been complaining about it, right? A lot of people are like saying, well, there's chaos. Hamas is killing people. Hamas is killing people. And Donald Trump straight up came out, as he often does, as he did yesterday as well on that plane, and said, yep, it's right. It's happening. Let's take a look.
Very, very bad gangs, and they did take them out, and they killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you. That's okay. We had a couple of very bad gangs. You know, it's no different than other countries. Like Venezuela sent their gangs into us, and we took care of those gangs. We have Washington, D.C.
Like, not only is he saying that these are very bad gangs, like, and he's not wrong. Like, these are ISIS affiliates. These are comprised of like drug dealers, ISIS affiliates, and people that Israel gave weapons to specifically to create an environment of chaos at the point of aid distribution and aid delivery. Like, everything Israel said Hamas was doing, everything Israel claimed Hamas was doing, they actually got these collaborators to do. Okay? Every single thing. And obviously, Israel not only was urging them to do this, but they were also giving them the weapons to do this, and they were literally doing it from their base. For the most famous version of this is obviously Abu Shabab, Yasser Abu Shabab, who was in prison for drug dealing. That Israel broke him out of prison after October 7, and then basically gave him a bunch of money, gave him some weapons, gave him aerial coverage with drones and whatnot to support him. And obviously, you know, you might know Yasser Abu Shabab, despite the fact that he is illiterate and can't even read or write in Arabic, from his Wall Street Journal opinion editorial piece that he wrote. Clearly, it was him who wrote that. That's, you know, you might know that from his, because I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, but he's a mean writer. You know, he's a really good op-ed writer. He wrote for the Wall Street Journal. So, in any case, Hamas and like the interior security apparatus that exists currently is punishing the collaborators and creating some semblance of stability in the Gaza Strip. Okay? And it's interesting that Donald Trump, in the classic Trumpian way, is openly saying it. Like, he's just like, yeah, these guys are dealing with like some really bad gangs. These guys are dealing with some really bad gangs. These are some really brutal gangs. He's not saying that like it was gangs armed by Israel. Okay? Even though that is the case. But the very fact that he's saying that instead of using the Hasbara line of like, well, these guys are brutal barbarians is very interesting.
Is one of the safest cities in the country. It was one of the worst cities in the country if you go back just a little while ago, right? Now it's safe. You can walk to work. Isn't it nice? And
stuff like this gives me a little bit more confidence that he obviously wants the ceasefire to stick, and he sees Hamas as like the only party that he can. He sees Hamas as like the only party that can maintain stability and push the ceasefire to stick. Okay. New Trump defends Hamas crackdown on gangs in Gaza, likens the cleaning up Washington, D.C. Speaking for the White House, Trump said Hamas did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad and killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you, he added. That's okay. Trump compared to how his own administration handled violent gangs, claiming Venezuela sent their gangs. Now, of course, when Donald Trump is talking about like what he's doing with like domestic, he's doing with like the domestic incidents, like there is a difference between a resistance faction that is trying to literally, in the imminent aftermath of a pause in this genocide, restore some semblance of order, versus the most powerful nation on the planet creating a fake environment to start executing people carte blanche with no repercussions whatsoever, off of faulty claims that they're actually violent gang members. So there is no comparison between like what Hamas is doing with what the United States of America has been doing, for the record. Like, that's not a real comparison. But it's funny that that's like the only thing he can, like, I like that he's using Hamas as a positive here in terms of like dealing with criminal elements, while simultaneously saying we're just like Hamas, because that's what this is. That's what he's saying here. He's saying my administration is just like Hamas, dealing with violent drug dealers and gang members in the most violent ways possible. Like, he's using Hamas as a positive force. Okay? Which is very strange. It's a very strange thing to hear from a American president or any American politician. This is outflanking Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is outflanking every left politician whatsoever. Like, this is an accurate reflection of what's taking place in the Gaza Strip without actually thinking about the why, the reasons as to why this kind of violence is taking place on the Strip. But it's shocking to me that he is able to just say that. Okay, he's just able to be like, yeah, that's right. Hamas, they're restoring order. Any other person, I mean, this is truly a Teflon Don moment, because any other American figure that says something like this, they would get fucking destroyed. Okay? They would get fucking destroyed. And I still think the reason why he's saying this is because he hasn't gotten the proper Hasbara notes on this. And he partially thinks that in order to make this ceasefire stick, which is clear that he wants the ceasefire to stick, the party that he has to align with, the more responsible party, the party that actually will generate the stability necessary for the ceasefire to hold, is going to be the existing resistance structure, which is currently led by Hamas. Which is, you know, unexpected from Donald Trump, but I guess he has his moments like that. This is yet another interesting Trump moment brought to you by his lack of interest in learning what the appropriate talking points are.
天上太阳风呀风通通的，心中太阳是毛泽东的，看看到我们的结伴嘞，这里本身咱家做主人，一呀一自由，两呀自由啊，这里本身咱家做主人。